What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle, and today, my friends, we're looking at the top 5 special cards coming in under 100K. So that could be any card that has some color. And I do want to start out, we're not talking about SBCs. I might make a separate video regarding squad builder challenge players. I just feel like they should be categorized differently because you can't buy them off the market, which is fine. I just think they deserve their own situation. The majority of them are no longer available, so I could be talking about how great they are, and you're getting hyped, you want to make that purchase, you're going to improve your team, and they're not available. If you enjoyed this concept, you're enjoying the top 5s, make sure to drop a thumbs up, and in the comments down below, because I know we're going to disagree on plenty of these choices. There's just too many options. It's very subjective. I want to know your top 5 players that fit into this category. You can even generalize if you want. Your top 5 players under 100K. I'm sure quite a few of those guys are gonna be special. I gotta preach. I gotta keep this on repeat. EA has dropped so many cards this year. I was going through Foothead for hours thinking about different players that I've used and other players that really stand out that I've gone up against, and trying to take everything into consideration to make this video. So what I'm saying is, please support the content. If you're brand new, it is free to subscribe. I'm happy to have you. My name is Mike. Did I say that already? I'm pretty sure I said that. Welcome.
Wait!
Also, if you have any ideas for top 5s, I already mentioned the SBC situation. I was thinking hidden gems, maybe top 5 super subs. There's certain guys that you know you're never going to get in that starting lineup, but you see them come in off the bench and you think to yourself,
oh no.
if I don't stop this guy, I'm in trouble. Or on the other end, you bring him in off your bench and you're thinking like, yup, that guy is about to be influential. Good luck defending. Insert name here, insert name there. You get the idea. Right off the jump, we have to start with some honorable mentions because there's just too many players. And I gotta give some love to a variety of players. Guys that I've used and abused with, guys that have put in work against me, and some that might be in between. And first off, we have headliner Lozano. One of those players that's almost impossible to get into the starting lineup unless you just have icons on icons on icons. And he might even be more valuable as a super sub. I feel as if there's a stigma attached to Lozano. You see him come in off the bench, you think to yourself, this is not going to be good. If you could pick him up, expect to use him as some sort of super substitute. If you have a bankroll that allows you to do that, welcome him into the team. I'm telling you, the guy has superpowers. 84 inform Ben Yedder. I remember when this card dropped and I was immediately interested, intrigued, lightweight, excited. Picked him up. He lived up to the hype. I've always been a fan of Ben Yedder. I wish he was a little bit taller, but that's not going to change, or maybe even a little more physical. And if you've got a bigger bankroll, you got a little extra in your pocket, he does have higher rated versions that are clearly going to be viable options, at least in my opinion. 87 Sandro. That's right, we're talking about fullbacks. And this is the UCL version of the card. And if you got a little more to work with, he's got multiple upgrades. You want a bigger inform? It's there, it's available. He also has that 89 overall card, and that man is tournament ready. Weekend League approved, division rival solidified, not gonna be a liability, someone you can count on. It's just gonna be a good situation. Of course, he does not fall in this price range, but I like even the base level Alexandro. If you were looking at base fullback, so no upgrades, no informed, no special, nothing, he might have the best base card in the game in terms of his output as a fullback, the value that you receive. I had to put Felipe Anderson in my honorable mentions. He's technically not in the price range. He's hovering just above, around 135 to 145. But I've used him so much that I just feel like I should at least give him some credit. We should talk about him briefly. And similar story, he's got an 86, an 87, an 88. Maybe he even get higher rated cards or a team of the season. He's a special card, even more so when the latency is clean and crisp. If your connection is silky, this man does turn like Messi. I know it's a big statement,
Maybe a little bit bold, it's out there.
but in my opinion, it's true. It's just so quick off the turns, and his touch, it's reliable. You can count on him to be in the right places offensively. Now, if you know you're going to be in a bunch of delay games, you lose some of his value because he doesn't have the same physical traits. But if you're going to lock Croqueta all over the pitch, you need some long shots, both feet. You need someone who can penetrate the defense. Felipe Anderson will do his job. 86 Sun, kind of similar to Felipe Anderson. He does have an affordable version that fits into this countdown, so to speak. 86 UCL card. However, if you could bump up a little bit and get a striker variation, go do that. Go help yourself out. Easier to get into squads. You almost have to have a Premier League side unless you do have icons in your starting 11. Another player that could be used as a very powerful, dynamic, impactful super substitute. He fits into that Lozano category where you just don't want to see this man coming off the bench. 84 Lala. And I've actually used this card a lot in FIFA 19. And we're going to keep a similar theme. If you got more coins, he has higher rated variations. You're going to love this guy. He's able to do everything on the pitch. He matches up pretty well versus the fast wingers and then has the versatility and jumping to get up decent versus some of those back post crosses. I say decent because if your opposition has Flashback Ibra or Cristiano Ronaldo, R9, Team of the Year Mbappe, those guys just win headers over everyone. You can try whatever you want for that fullback position, and it might help increase some of your odds of stopping them in those 50-50 pursuits. But in the majority of those aerial sequences, and with this collision system, those big athletic players truly shine. And they win out even versus other big athletic defenders. I believe strongly the best way to defend crosses is actually to stop the crosser, not to try to defend the cross once it's in the air. You never know what's going to happen once the ball's up there and maybe it gets a weird bounce back, or you win the header and it goes to the top of the box and your opponent still gets a shot, or he hits a volley. And last but not least, with my honorable mentions, is the 84 Balotelli, the Halloween edition, which isn't getting that much love, but you should peep this card. He's on the cheap end mainly because of some of the lack of links. Folks aren't building Ligue teams, therefore it keeps his price down, but you still are going to get a quality player. Another guy that I would happily slide into the super subs of dreams department if you want someone who's going to come in and just disrupt everything that's happening in the match. He's got the size, the skills, he's going to be able to finish, and he's Balotelli. Why me? Into the official countdown, and these are not listed in order, but I have experience using every one of these cards. Plenty of experience, actually. And we're starting out with 86 Cancelo. And of course, I've been using the 89 variation of this card now, but I had his one to watch. We've seen these upgrades come through. He's got those multiple informs, which is just going to be something that we keep on repeat throughout this video. And Cancelo gives you everything you could look for in a fullback. He's got decent size. He's very skillful. He has those 4-star skills. If you need someone who can whip in crosses, you need someone with the pace. He gets back well. I feel like his positioning is also, for the most part, reliable. In FIFA 19, it's hard to say anything's a sure thing or extremely reliable, but I don't find myself questioning his positioning, and that's a good sign. That means he's mostly in the right place at the right time. And even when I lose matches, I'm not blaming those losses on Cancelo. Sometimes it's on my goalkeeper. Courtois let me down. Could be an error in the midfield. Could be myself just not playing up to a certain standard. But in terms of what Cancelo's giving me, we're good to go. Not complaining. Thank you very much. Next in the countdown, we have the 86 overall Martial card. And I'm not going to say exclusively, but I do prefer to use him as a super sub. He just gives you that extra little bit of off the bench. I'm sure this player would be in my top 5 super sub video because I put this man into motion. I have his red version, of course, the 86 inform. Same card, it's just red. And what I appreciate so much about Martial is that he could play as a striker, a winger. You could even play him as a central cam if you needed him to be there. He just fits the meta well. Back post crosses, not a problem. Finishing, that's cool. He's got the skill moves. He's very attack oriented. I just feel a goal or an assist, or that he's oozing to go forward. He has that potential to push forward and to change games. And that's exactly what you want. And if you're building a Premier League side, he could very likely be introduced to your starting 11. Just at this point, there's so many different cards and people have started to build up a big bankroll. He often turns into a super sub. At the midway point, Money Mahrez. And this might be exclusive to me. 87 overall. Not necessarily somebody that you see in that many squads. See him more often in drafts. Partially is because he's not getting those minutes at Manchester City, and I feel that that correlates with how much people are using him on the virtual pitch, at least in my opinion. But if you're good at skill moves, the way that he's able to slice and dice and just put on a show and perform, and he gives you something creative, something special. He definitely has the ability to change matches, and I use him as a starter most of the time. But even off the bench, I'd be happy days with Mahrez. You have to respect him, and no matter what variation of of FIFA you played this year, whether it was the pre-patch where you had the long shots with the finesse joints, Mahrez had a mastery of those. He specialized in them. Or the current game where you have to work the ball in, you need somebody who's able to combine those skills or to set up the El Tornadoes or the flick crosses. Mahrez does not let you down. And I like that you could also play him in a few different positions. You need a left mid, right mid,
Cool.
center attacking mid.
Not a problem.
I don't know if I would put him as a center mid. I have used him as a striker, and I prefer him as a striker if you have a 2-striker setup. That's a big key to me. Don't play him by himself. He's not going to be your classic target man, and he doesn't give you, of course, that aerial presence where you can whip in crosses and expect him to get on the end of those with high levels of consistency. The man's not Cristiano now, but he is coming in at the right price. Little drum roll. We've got Halloween Fellaini. And there's something about having long hair. I know we cut it off, but this man converts to being a beast on the pitch. A good example of an 80 overall that can impact games. He just has the right stats in the right places to play his role, to play his position, especially in a 4-2-3-1. If you have another player that's similar to Fellaini, he's gonna be all over the place. Put him next to his partner in crime, Halloween Busquets. People are not breaking through that setup very easily. They're gonna be frustrated, not gonna be having a good time. Complaining will happen. Oh yeah, those guys are gonna block a lot of shots, intercept tons of passes. No doubt about it. And topping the charts, no bias as an Everton supporter, we have the second in-form Richarlison, who just fits the game well. I love his movement. He gives you what you need. Pace, oh, he's got that. He can win everything in the air. He's not a small guy, and this card in particular has a lot of physical traits you're gonna like. And that allows you to play him in multiple roles on your team, whether you want a 4-1-2-1-2, 2-striker setup, you need him out wide, you need him creating. You can even get away with playing him as a center mid because of those physical traits. I know he doesn't have the defensive numbers, but depending who else you have in your center mid trio or foursome or fivesome, whatever you're putting together, you can slide him in there is what I'm saying. Also, if you're playing him as a center mid, he has high work rates, which means he's gonna go both ways on the pitch. The man's not lacking anything, and for under 100K, you're picking him up at good value. Thanks again for watching. Remember, it is free to subscribe. If you enjoy it, get involved. Let me know what's happening. I know that we're going to have some good discussion down below in the comments, and I have a lot more content come for you ASAP.